As a journalist, which are the journalists who you really appreciate, admire, whose work you think is very good?
No, again, I'm not going to name you names, Abhinandan, but there are a lot of good people working in Indian journalism all across the board. If I despair,
maybe when you were younger.
if I despair for something, I despair for the lack of enough inspirational leadership in Indian media today. Because I actually believe that the young journalists are very, very.
Who are you inspired by?
You know, I mean, fundamentally, my personal source of inspiration have been either writers or political statesmen. So, I mean, my inspiration would be somebody like Nehru, you know, Jawaharlal, who I think is an extraordinary individual. And we don't have the country we have today if we factor Jawaharlal out of that. I mean, all the fundamentals, all the modernity comes to us, and democracy and liberalism comes to us with a man like Nehru. And he's there long enough to make sure it survives. So a lot of what we see around us actually draws from him and all the founding fathers. Among writers, I mean, there's a whole slew of writers that are important to me, from George Orwell to Franz Kafka to Cervantes. So there's a whole lot of many poets like Whitman and Eliot. So there's a whole lot of people, but not so much journalists. As I said, the more political statesmen, where it's the founding fathers and more writers.
So why do you think? Why do you worry for journalism now?
I don't worry for it. I would be happier to see more inspired leaders in Indian journalism, because I find the young. Because in Tehelka we attract a lot of young journalists. The potential of the young journalists is pretty high still. As high as it ever was, if not more. So you're getting a very, very good crop of people in, but they're getting disillusioned fast. So they either get out of journalism, or they start doing other things, or they never rise to their true level. And really, I mean, most businesses are inspirational, and journalism is no different. You know, so you really need a quality of lead, whether it's politics or journalism.
And do you see things getting easier for Tehelka as you go along?
Oh, they have, absolutely. I mean, easier largely because the traction for the magazine has been going dramatically. I mean, its traction on policy making, on decision making is huge. Its numbers are growing week on week. We are not so toxic for advertisers as we were for a long time. Advertisers are willing to look at us and discover that there is genuine merit in what we do and advertise with us. So it's still very, very difficult, and I think print is difficult. You know, apart from for a few market leaders,
they're making losses
apart from a few market leaders. So I think there is also a case for structural change in media, you know, but why would the politics of this country want structural change? I mean, they would rather have a media that remains a little infirm, because then you can control it better.